Hey, what's going on, everyone? All right, so today we're going to talk about the Steeda Tri-Ax shifter. So we purchased that short throw shifter to go on our Tremec Mgn XL. So we're going to talk about the vibration. Now, if you've been following me right from the get-go, we had a lot of NVH, and actually it was pretty bad. So I did some investigation and found out, one, that where initially in the previous video, I thought that there was not a layer of silicone on the base of the transmission where the Tri-Ax mounted. There is, and that is a recommendation from Steeda. Steeda also sent me a reply per my request, letting them know I was having an issue, so they sent a list of what to check for, and I'm going to show you that list. We'll check those, and then what we've done since then. So we had pretty much vibration from, like I said, the get-go, and it's that rattle shifter noise. There was an insulator that goes on the side shifter where the shifter connects up from the shift handle, if you will. It's sandwiched in there. There's two plates. Actually, there's one plate, but there's two areas where you can insulate. So we just had one gasket. I insulated one side, and that helped a bunch. That took out the NVH up to about 5,500 RPM, which is great. I mean, when you're normal driving, this transmission is still leap years ahead, in my opinion, ahead of where I came from, which was a Caliber Stage 3 with a blow shift racing bracket and a Martin short throw. So immediately, when I went to this bigger transmission, just an FYI, I jumped right to a short throw. And maybe that was a bad decision, but I'm not going to go back now. I like the Tri-Ax, so I'm going to work with it. And so what we did is we ordered another part from Steeda, which is the same part that came with the shifter that we're going to put on the other side where it mounts. We're going to show you where that is in the hopes that we can knock out this vibration a little bit at a higher RPM. If we can't, I'm fine with that because, again, I don't live there. You know, when under normal driving, when you're in it, you know, it's only going to be there for a few seconds. So, yeah, it is what it is. But we're going to take a look at the stock shifter. Now, I've done some reading and found out that Tremec worked a lot on getting the NVH out of their shifter. So, if you guys are looking to buy a Tremec Mgn XL for your S197, one thing to do is maybe just stay with stock shifter, okay? Because it's probably not going to give you nowhere near as close as the NVHs we're getting. And I'm not, you know, again, this is nothing against Steeda. This Steeda Tri-Ax is a badass shifter. It works really well. And you'll see, check out a previous video and it just lets you know where you're at every time. That's why I like it. But what I'm just trying to say is maybe I should not have jumped to that and I should have tried it out. So the issue now is that the way this is mounted, the shifter favors the left side of that transmission bell housing, if you will, transmission hump, and it's really tight, so it's hard to get in there and try and remove it now unless you drop the tail end of the transmission. So I'm not going there to do that. I'm going to work with this Tri-Ax. But you guys, the new purchasers, you want to just think about what you're doing and, you know, make that decision based on your research. And again, we're going to show you ours, what we're going to do. And I also, right now, we're going to show the Tremec shifter that came off. Now, I was looking at it, it's full of grease, and there's quite a bit of insulation, like a polyurethane, that it seems to be cushioning. And the throw, in all honesty, based on me moving it around, I don't think it's much different than what I have. I really don't, but I'll let you guys look at that real quick, and then we're going to take this apart and show you the part number that we got and show you Steeda's list of recommendations. We're going to check those, and then we're going to do a drive and hope that it gets rid of our issues. So let's check out their shifter. Hopefully you guys can see this. So this is Tremec's shifter. And you can see it's filled with grease. And of course, it's probably hard to see because of the lighting in here. This is really pretty well insulated, and it appears to have what I'm going to call a polyurethane gasket. But it's pretty robust, but you can feel that this is where probably some of the work, I would guess, that they did to get rid of the NVH. The other thing I want to show you from a throw standpoint, look at this. I mean, I would call this a short throw already, right? Look at that. That's a nice little setup. So this probably would have been the ticket. It would have felt fairly normal. So this is the Tri-Ax. And we're actually waiting on our hardware, our new hardware to come with the white, for the white shifter ball that we received. The hardware doesn't actually fit, so we can't mount it yet. It has a locking nut, so it'll actually get us to set this properly. So for now, it's sideways, which doesn't bother me. I know which way to go for shifting, right? We know we're not going to go that way. So how the shifter works, it resides, the basic H pattern, it resides between third and fourth, as any shifter would do, but it really has got a lot of spring tension, and it's there. So first gear, of course, is over and up. Second is down. Third, you bang it, you just push it straight up, boom, and you're there. Then fourth. But if you look at the travel, I don't personally think it's much different than the Tremec. All right, so the way to get this off is relatively easy. You take the ball, then you take off this spacer here. Now this is actually our original spacer from the MT82, because the ones we received from Tremec don't fit. The lengthwise are too long. Back here in your console, you want to firmly grab it, and it just lifts straight up. It's hard to do. There we go, when it using one hand. But we're going to set the camera down. This side popped up. We're going to get this side up, and then I'll show you how to lift it up. Okay, we were able to get it up, and then this just kind of lifts straight up, and then you gently pull it back and up over your shifter. And this is a bad recording because I'm doing it with one hand. And there's a plug on here that you want to unplug. There we go. Let me show you where that is, which is on this side. So it's up there up front. And then we're gonna release that and then pull this off. There's a little clip on here you pull down that unlocks it, and then it gets you unplugged. So here you might have some tabs you got to unscrew to lift out this insulation. And then what you do is pretty much you pull this out from under this wiring here. I want to mention that this clip is on like a little retainer, so you just pull it straight up and then it kind of unlocks it, if you will. Other than that, you should be able to pull it out as such. And then this is your shifter boot. Now this doesn't fit normally. Modern Driveline said you have to trim it on one side. We didn't trim it. It just isn't enclosed on that side. And I'll show you what I mean, how tight this shifter is. And just pull it straight up. Now this is what the shifter looks like. This is where we had put our first insulator. The second one we're going to put here. So hopefully that will knock down some of this NVH and it won't reverberate back up into the shifter. As you can see where it's mounted, it's really hard to get to the mounting. Now again, you may be able to do it on the bottom side. But like I said, I'm okay with where we're at. I'm not going to try and switch it back. I'm going to work with a Steeda piece because I like it. So we're going to pull this apart and we'll show you the part number. But this basically unscrews on this side, and this is threaded. This is threaded. So this unscrews from here. This is just a locking nut. One of the checks, see the one to check for is 10 thousandths clearance here. And this is the air gap, what they call, between the shifter I don't know if we can see that one as much. We'll check that with some feeler gauges. And then they also check to see if these are loose, and they're not. I can tell you that they're tight, but we'll check it. Now this is the shifter insulator kit. From Steeda. There is your part number. Now this includes the 2 bolts and nuts, but I don't much care about that. I'm going after this gasket here. This is what we're going to throw on there to help insulate further our NVH and the shifter. So hopefully you guys got that number. We can get it for you in the description. But this is a little bugger that we're going to put on right here. So Steeda's asking if there's side-to-side play, which there isn't. Is the boot guard washer tight? Are the nuts and bolts loose? And is there 10 thousandths gap? We'll check that for you guys, and then we're gonna get this other gasket on. Okay, we showed you how to get to the instructions from Steeda, and as I recall, I don't think I provided that information. So this air gap, that is the distance between the shifter and the top of this bolt. You want that to be 10 thousandths in the front and the back. So it's already supposed to stop your shifter but not touch it. We're way out. We're 30 thousandths plus. On the top side likewise. So we're going to make that adjustment, and then we're going to also adjust it in every gear to make sure that it's remaining. So there are instructions there that we're going to follow. It also stated that NVH in this gasket will reduce NVH. Now they said to do it to the bottom side here, so I'm going to add another one to this side just to give us a little extra insulation for that NVH. So we're going to start and adjust these air gaps. Where I'm going to loosen the bolt, and we're going to adjust it until it's 10 thousandths. They said to apply pressure with the shifter on it and then tighten it, so it's going to be kind of hard to do. So we're not going to be able to show you that with the camera, but I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. All right, we have our 10 thousandths feeler gauge, and then we are going to check. So we got them set where they should be, which are snug when a pressure is applied, and you got that 10 thousandths gap when it's setting without pressure. This might be a hair more. I'd say it's pretty damn close. Likewise, the one up front, we did the same thing. That one's a little snug, but I think we're good. I think we're good. So now we're going to remove this arm, put on that gasket, and then we'll take it out for a test ride. So the locking nuts on this side are off, and by the way, this is 1/2 inch, and these are threaded. So we're going to take these right out. I'm sure you guys don't need to see this, but we'll get these pulled out for you, and then we'll put the insulator in. Now, the shaft here is what's threaded. We're just going to pull this out far enough to get the gasket in between. We're not going to pull this all the way out. So that's how we got them sandwiched in there. It does move the shifter over, I'd say at least 1/8 of an inch. So I don't think it's too awful bad. We'll put our lock nuts on this side and we should be good to go. We double checked our air gaps. That's the head of the bolt to the back side of the shifter. We're at 10 thousandths, so we're good. Now we're going to reassemble everything. So I believe the shifter boot washer is what they were referring to as this. And this was just kind of sitting right there. It's very possible this could have been also making a little noise, rattling. So we're going to see what we can do to change that. So in my shifter box with the kit, this was also their extra. This looks like this kind of neatly fits over this area, and once we get our proper locking hardware, I think it'll lock everything down. In fact, the piece that I took off here will compress onto this, so we should be fine. So now we're ready for reassembly. So the snug side on the left, that was extremely close. In fact, you can see the shifter in that gap. It's difficult to try and get that on. That's like the only part that I can't get. I was exposed before slightly. I don't know if that's going to be a big deal. I don't think it is, but I'll try and work on it some more. If I can't get it, we're going to go with this. All right, we have it all back together. So we'll go take it out and drive it and see how it feels. We're going to take it down the road and see if we didn't fix our NVH. Like I said, previous to this it was above 5,000, which I'm okay because most of my driving is below. When we're into it, it's not there much, it's not there long, so the window's down, you can't even hear it. But we're going to test it and see where we're at and make sure our air gaps are fine. We set them at 10 thousandths, exactly how Steeda said. Now, one thing to remember, anything you buy from Steeda, you don't receive instructions, but you have to pull them off their website. They reside on their website, under the part. This car drives incredibly well, so much better with this Tremec in it. It's still amazed. I'm still disappointed how I missed out on 2 years of you know, fun car stuff. I did cool things with the car, but loving this car all over again. Up, we're about 2,500. I got no NVH going on right now, 0. I'm gonna wait for a better spot because we're so heavily wooded out here. I never know when a deer is gonna run in front of me, so we'll go around, we'll get some revs for you, I'll let you hear the car because we haven't wrapped it too loud. Flashing his lights. I don't know what's going on with that. Is the car falling apart? I don't know. Call it a third. Second. This kid's coming, so I gotta be kind. Respectful. Man, she's loud. Biggest fear is breaking. But the sound is amazing. Till you get this thing up in its power band, it's really poochy. You guys all know that. Doing any damage, so I didn't do any super prior, but I think we're fine. This thing runs phenomenal. I can't wait to get to E85 tune in, go back, try those 65,000 volt coil packs. I know they're gonna pick me up. Second gear pull, I can feel the G's. I can feel the G's in this car, and I haven't been able to do that because before I was spinning. And I think I'm getting my horsepower back. In all honesty, this car feels like another car. We're just gonna rip down here. All right, so conclusion is, yes, you're gonna get a little NVH from this Tri-Ax. I don't think it's gonna be perfect, but where it sits today, I'm super happy with it. It's running or working good. The cars are running great, as you can hear, and I don't know if you can see, but just a little more miles, get this thing broken in, and we're gonna see what it's gonna do. But the way it feels, I'm getting those G-forces here, and when I feel that out of first gear, I know this is an high 11 second car. And we may dip down in the mid 11s, I don't know. We ran 1199 and it felt nothing like it feels here, nothing. So in the street, yes, it's that much difference. So I've been in high 11 second cars before, so I know what it feels like. And I'm telling you, this car has woken up with this Tremec. I'm super happy with this 297 gear setup. I know you guys, some guys been kind of dogging me on that, but this car ain't missing a beat with this. This car is gonna kick some butt. And I do think we got our horsepower back. If you've been following me, also just quick update on the stage 3. It's been sitting. I talked to Ellen today. It's been there for over a week, and they said they'll get to it next week, which they said they'd get last week. Said they'd get it to it on Monday of this week. They didn't touch it, so I don't know what's going on there. Hope it doesn't turn into a little like game, but hopefully they can get to it. We can find out what's wrong, get it fixed, and I'll see if they're gonna purchase it from me. So anyways, guys, that's it now. Tri-Ax shifter for me, it's a thumbs up. For you guys buying those Tremecs out there, Magnum XLs, if I were you, I would probably leave the stock shifter. If you're hell-bent for a Tri-Ax, go for it. You need a little bit of work, you know, around to get it to where you want to be, as what you saw today, and a little bit of, you know, setup. If somebody's putting it in for you, just double check, make sure they have the directions, and you'll be good to go. So anyways, that's my gig. I'm just rattling on now. And tomorrow, Motor Trend Roadkill Nights, all Hemi powered, sponsored by Dodge. That's gonna be kick-ass. So you guys, thanks a lot. Take care. We'll see you.